All right, all right. Recently, I've been watching The Vampire Diaries, and I'm in season 5 now. There's something so fascinating and intriguing about Damon Salvatore. You know, it kind of shows you in a way that we as human, we're not born evil, rather we're made evil. Like before he met Catherine, right? Yeah, he was so innocent. He fell in love. He believed that Catherine like loved him wholeheartedly. But then turned out, if you have watched it, you know what happened, right? He asked Catherine, whether she loved him or not, and she said that like she has never loved him, bro. Like, dude, I would feel like my world has just collapsed. Like he spent almost like 150 years trying to find her, but she confessed that she already knew where he was, but she didn't want to get with him, like didn't want to like be together with him, bro. Fucking shit. So I kind of like Damon a lot, I feel him. The reason why he's like deemed as like a bad guy, or he's a bad guy, whatever that you want to define him, because he kills so many people and he doesn't care about like others that much, based on like his exterior. Though when it comes to love, he would do anything for Elena, which is something that I think it is very beautiful, for a person to do that. He doesn't give a shit what like Elena thinks, he would just do anything to protect her. I kind of like that. Honestly, you know, I don't care whether the whole world would deem me as a villain or something. Because at the end of the day, I live for myself, not for them. I would do things for myself, not for anyone. Of course, like others would think that you are selfish, but who give a shit? You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, if I just do things to please people or conform to the norm, then what? You all accept me, but at what like expense? I don't want to live the life like that where society handed me like a blueprint. How should I live my life? Fuck no. I'm gonna create it on my own, okay? Whatever that I want to do, just like simple as that. That's why I kind of like him a lot. Even though he knows that people around him will hate him because of his Machiavellian actions and his manipulative remarks and stuff. But at the end of the day, he just did that to protect his loved ones. I think that is kind of fair point. Similar to Eren Yeager, if you have watched like Attack on Titan. Nobody wants to actually be a bad guy, but that is how our world is. There are bad people, people who want to exploit you. And if you care about justice, then by the time you maybe like lose everything already, since you care so much about trying to protect everyone, you care about your enemies so much, then you lose everything. Man, like I don't think it is worth it at all. That's why like I kind of like Damon's mentality. I would do what I want. I don't care what you think. It's pretty cool. I love it. So I don't want anyone to misdirect my point. I don't deem him as a villain because I think he's fundamentally a good guy, even though he's also a serial killer. He's often like being realistic. You can see it, right? Like when he's being blunt, telling Elena what we should actually do, even if it means it would cost, one of our friends' life and stuff. Elena would always, denies it. No, we're not gonna do that. I'm not gonna lose anyone. But do you know with that, this impossible. So, and Stefan, he would be like a saint, always agrees with Elena since he's a good guy, right? To me, like, I don't think either is better than like the other, like Damon and Stefan. I think they both like should come together as a package to balance the world. You get what I mean? Like Damon, he's a quick guy, he sees through deception and he kind of has trust issues. He doesn't trust anyone easily and he's not easily manipulated. I kind of like that part because like he learned from his like experiences with Katharina, his ex and stuff. So being betrayed, and he actually, I mean, the story, right? He was forced to turn to be a vampire. So his life kind of sucks. I mean, this video is kind of like, spoiling the whole, uh, I don't know, series, but my point is not like that. But I just want to tell you what I like about him. It's pretty cool. So, and like Stefan, he's like a good guy. He would do whatever that would make Elena happy. I mean, it is good, right? You want to make your partner feel good, feel safe, happy around you. But sometimes it means that, you're, there was once the part that Elena told Stefan to save Matt, Elena's friend, instead of saving her. So she ended up dead or nearly dead. And that's my point, because if Damon were to be in that position, I swear to you, he wouldn't care about what Elena thinks and he would save Elena anyway. That's why I kind of like him, he doesn't listen to anyone. I would just do things on my own, in my own ways, being realistic. Whatever that benefits me most. Yeah, sounds like a bad guy, like very selfish, right? But I mean, like I said, you know, you just want to like be happy like for once in your life. The world is cruel and you don't always have a second chance, and if you waste it then you might never get it again. So you need to understand where he like came from, what made him this way. Nobody wants to be a villain, a bad guy, a manipulator. Nobody wants to be like that, okay? If it is possible, we all want to treat others equally, like with like dignity, but in reality, it is either you exploit them or they're exploiting you. I know that like there can be some people that like, no, it's not like that. You can sometimes be too blah, blah, blah. Bro, if you're that kind of person, you don't understand, like the concept of like generalization. I'm not saying that like every case is going to be like that, okay? But like, you know what I mean? If you're upset with it, that's on you, man, because I don't give a shit. So if you see why he is what he is, look at like his history. Nobody has ever loved him like his dad. He deemed him as a disappointment. Stefan, he's always like the best, reliable guy, ever since birth. He was nothing, he just wanted someone to accept him as he is. So even after that, like, 150 years later, he found Elena and had so many friends. The only thing that he wants from that is just like, some people who accept him. That's it. And it's kind of weird, Alark became his best friend. Like at first, like they were hostile and wanted to kill each other, but then somehow they ended up becoming like best friends. It's funny, right? But I love it. I love it. But just like that, if you see through it, there are so many advantages when you are a person like Damon, being manipulative, having trust issues, doesn't give a shit about anyone. You would do things in your own way and just care only people whom you love. And the benefit is that you are not easily manipulated, like I said, and you kind of build like a huge wall, to protect yourself so that nobody can get into you or like attack you since it is so high. And it's good for you, nobody can hurt you, but consequently he also will not have anyone around him since he built like his character like so strong that nobody can just get near him and like try to trick him anything since he already like you know see like I don't know 10 steps ahead already, so nobody can bamboozle him. I mean, it's very brilliant, right? But also nobody will love him either since he doesn't care about anyone, then they're not gonna care about him either, and that is the cost. you know it's quite hard to be loved by being a person like Damon, but you gotta choose, okay? Because to me, I've been thinking that like I don't think being like Damon or Stefan is like the best or like ideal, since at the end of the day it is up to you to choose who you want to be, your identity. There are some pros and cons in every identity. I'm saying like as if it is something you can choose. I mean, to some extent, you can choose to be a quiet or a talkative person, contingent upon your personality, or I don't know. I have no idea, but it's just like that. And I think that is pretty much overall already. I like him a lot. And if you have anything, just, you know, you can comment down below. Because I really like this series. I still got like 4 seasons left, and I'm gonna watch the original too. So let's see how it goes. Thanks a lot for watching, and see you next video.